Alright, so today we're going to do a budget big brake conversion on my brother's Integra. We got Mini Cooper rotors, pads off of
2007 base model.
so base model. They're used off our buddy Aaron's. It was a boosted EK, so definitely a little warped or whooped in heat. They got some heat damage to them. But these are, what are these?
Type R.
So these are off Type R. But we're going to put these on temporarily. They're definitely used and abused, but just to make sure the whole setup works before upgrading to like the drilled and slotted version of the rotors. So yeah, we're just going to slap everything together today and see if we can get it to work.
Alright, so the reason you have to use Mini Cooper rotors are because if you don't have a 5-lug conversion, these actually have a 4x100 bolt pattern. So they'll still bolt up. You don't have to worry about like the machine screw, because when you clamp the wheel on and everything, it'll be centered on there. But so that's how you can use the Type R calipers, because the brackets are the same on the actual hub itself, but you have to change the rotors to those Mini Cooper rotors. And shout out to Aaron for that, because those were free, just given to me.
Yeah, he's always
the brake boosting.
he's always got the hookups. Oh, and we got to change the master cylinder.
Oh yeah, so you also have to change the master cylinder to an RS or Type R version, because all the ports have to be on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
so,
I forgot to mention we're doing the ABS delete too.
Yeah.
So while we're at it, we're going to be deleting the ABS box, doing the 40/40 prop valve, and all that. So all in one video. Just might as well do it all at the same time.
Yeah, and you can see on the valves here, it actually have a 40/40 stamped into it, and that's how you know which one it is.
Yeah, and the V, we look at it from the top, 40/40, and then this is the standard. So those are way overpriced on eBay these days too. They're over $100 because you could only get them in DA Integras and then the RS version of this. So very annoying that the Honda tax.
Yeah, and then we're gonna at the same time just upgrade stainless steel braided lines for the wheel wells while we're doing it, because we're gonna have to pump the brakes anyway. So this will kind of get rid of that sponginess that the rubber hoses give.
And they're more durable. Yeah.
So if you guys don't have a strut bar, you don't have to worry about this, but I'm going to take the strut bar out just so it makes it easier to get back there, because it's the 3-point, so it's mounted on the firewall too. But you'll have to take out your battery, in my case the catch can, because the lines from the actual ABS unit run down and under and over. So we'll start with that.
Lightweight.
We're putting these back on so when we jack it up, it doesn't fall out of the strut tower.
So we're going to try to drain all the brake fluid so we're not making a mess under the hood for taking all the parts out. Alright, when converting to the 40/40 prop valve, you don't have to remove these two lines for the rear because they just plug right in. But the front you gotta take out, but you gotta replace these lines anyways with the non-ABS lines, so you can just leave those hooked into the proportioning valve that's in the car, because you just remove it all at once or cut it. Alright, my brother's gonna cut the old lines out for the ABS system just because it's easier to yank out that way, and then while he's doing that, I'm gonna take the old rubber lines off because we got those new braided lines, so I'm just gonna pop them off quick, hopefully without rounding the the line nuts off, but we'll see.
Probably haven't had a while.
Junkyard style. Yeah, we may be adding some weight with the new calipers and rotors because they're bigger, but also just dropped a bunch of weight, and then we'll have you update then what you did down here.
Yeah, so I just took the module out, cut the lines here. There's like the bracket under there, and I took this off like we were talking about, so then I was just able to kind of snip in sections, and you just had to take off your fuel filter to pull back to get one of the brackets off, and make sure you're avoiding the slave cylinder line that's independent. Luckily the other ones have kind of like a gray rubber sleeving around them, so it kind of distinguishes it. And then took off the proportioning valve there. These are the two lines that go to the back that you actually leave in the car that'll go up to the 40/40. And I snipped these, took the one out of the wheel well here.
All right, today's the next day. We kind of just stopped where we were at yesterday because Jay Noel stopped by and we wanted to give you a tour of his JDM front end Integra. So we're gonna pick back up right where we left off. He got all the brakes removed and he got all the lines out. And the only thing I think I didn't film is replacing the master cylinder. So that's the only thing different. But we can start throwing new brakes on and go from there.
Right there.
We're building brake rotors.
Building.
20 minutes later. So after endless wrench flipping, my brother got this in. But just to show you the lines, how they go up over, just in detail, because there's not many pictures online. Oh yeah. And you'll only be able to mount it to one of those studs when you swap the proportioning valve, unless you have, what is it, the RS?
Yeah, the DA ones. I think this is a DA or an EG, but I think those are the same. But then the RS is the only one that'll fit the DC Integra firewall. Perfect.
And you don't have to worry about movement because it's not like it's under pressure. It's not going to move, so it's fine with just one bolt. Also, I'm going to add a picture in here from Google of the RS Integra firewall so you can see the prop valve labeled with which line goes where. It looks a little bit different because this is a LS model, so it has the lines are not bent the same, but it gives you the details so you can figure out what line goes where. So engine bay is all back together now, and we will start putting the brakes back on, the new brakes. Conveniently, these are labeled left and right.
Bad dog. Dad bog. Pass.
Which one do you want to do it, Daddy? Which one?
Alright, now that everything is together, all we gotta do is bleed the brakes and then test them out. And for Hondas, for bleeding the brakes, you want to start at the furthest from the master cylinder and work your way to the closest. So that would be the back passenger, then rear driver, front passenger, then driver. So just work your way like that. And it's a weird pattern. I don't know why it's like that, but that's how you bleed the brakes on a Honda, or at least most older Hondas. I don't know if it varies between manufacturer or not, but I've only really done Honda and Toyota stuff. Alright, brakes are all bled. Now time to go for a test drive. So we messed up. Well, not really messed up, we just didn't think of it because I didn't know that was a thing. When you swap the master, you explain it better, but...
Yeah, when you swap a master cylinder, you have to adjust the throw on the rod that's on your booster. So when you push the pedal in, it pushes the rod, and then the rod pushes the piston in the master cylinder. And when we installed it, there was like a little bit of resistance, and I thought it was just like the spring pressure from it just like when you install it, but it must have been like already kind of starting to push on it. So once we actually like bled the brakes, got all the air out of the lines and everything like that, then it must have been holding the brakes on a little bit. Couldn't really tell. And then once we got going, I was like, it's driving weird. Like I would push in the clutch and it felt like it was just kind of like dropping fast. And then I was like, okay, yeah, something's definitely wrong. I got into like third gear and I was just trying to go like up an incline and we couldn't get it to go. And then all of a sudden I was just like, I smell brakes.
Well, you'll feel it how it did before, where it's like pulling hard, like when you're off the throttle. So if it starts doing that again, we'll just pull over and bleed the pressure again. Shout out to Andre for dropping off tools. We cracked the bleeder and now we're on our way back, so hopefully it doesn't heat up again. We're just gonna use the handbrake to get home. Made it back. We're gonna put on the lift, hit the gas, and ride the brakes and see what happens. And give it a little gas in a second so you get the wheel moving faster. Yeah. Pretty good.
Oh my gosh, I
We've done it to like 100 miles an hour, trying to find a vibration.
Oh yeah, because it moves the speed up.
Yeah. Oh, are you off the brake? Yeah. This one's starting to lock up. Yeah, a little bit. I can move it by hand, but not that good. I can still spin it by hand, but that one's hard.
It is?
Yeah, that one's getting hard. It's at least harder, a lot harder.
Yeah, it wasn't like that before.
No, so it's starting to. I mean, and this is like way less load than it would be under like on the road, because it's not trying to stop as much weight. You're just building heat.
So it's not getting as like hot.
Yeah, so this is just barely building heat compared to on the road using the brakes. So with the pedal all the way backed out and adjusted, it still is pushing the nipple too far into the new slave or master cylinder. So that's why we're getting the brake pressure. So now shaving that down, and then he's gonna create a spacer on top of it to go here.
Yeah, so if I'm gonna measure this diameter, drill a hole through this sheet metal, then I can drop this through, then I can draw a flange on it, drill the two stud holes for it, cut that out, and then I'll be able to put it as a spacer in between the booster and the master itself to give it a little more clearance. And you don't have to worry about the seal, because the seal actually goes inside this here too, so that should give us the extra space that we need for it.
That's what happens when you're doing budget built stuff.
Yeah.
Could go buy a new booster, but they're like $300, so not doing that. Just gonna make a spacer, and then hopefully that works. Always wear protection, because that happens.
Yeah, I'll see.
Rough cut. So now it's back together with the spacers, and we're gonna go take it for a test drive to see if it fixed it, or at least made it better. 10 out of 10, don't do this at home. This is just temporary. Brake check. Yeah, the fronts are definitely still warm. So it's still dragging a little bit. I don't know if it's dragging as bad, but definitely too much to drive far.
Alright, so we finally got that stud grounded and rounded off enough where you can see when I put this on, that's about where it starts engaging, if you can see that gap. So our plates here are going to be more than that, giving it that tiny bit of gap between, like I think it's like 5/16 or something, 15 or 16ths of an inch that you want before it actually engages that the cylinder itself. So between these two, and then we actually have these as well to have this seal up against it, since we're doing 2 plates off the end of on there too inside. It should be disengaged until I touch the brake pedal. I won't be riding on it anymore, therefore not heating up the brakes as we're driving.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Heat check. Yeah. I mean, it just came in pretty hard on the brakes too. It's a little heat, but not as much. So good. Kanjo noise. Alright, so the ricer engineering worked. So,
Yeah, finally, we can call this video an end.
no, we did do hard braking and all that, and it does hold up, so.
Yeah, we just got back. Fuel pressure's still up, and the wheels are not even hot.
Yeah. Before you couldn't even touch this wheel, it's so hot, but now it's just typical warm from
Yeah.
brakes. So, yeah, it does work if you're in a jamble. And I think because it's not an OEM booster, that's probably why I didn't swap right over. So,
No, I think it is.
Is it OEM? Oh, it is. So I don't know why it's.
Word of advice, if you guys are going to do this, I just bought the booster, but if you can get the
Master.
I mean the master
Yeah.
cylinder, yeah. So word of advice, if you can get the master cylinder and the booster together, like from a donor car to the picket yard, do that, because then you don't have to worry about the throw rod at all. It should be all good. But because I kept my booster and then swapped to that RS, the depth was different in the piston where it seats, so that's why we did the spacers and had to ground down the rod, adjust the pedal underneath. It was that much longer, apparently.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe an OEM master would have made a difference, but who knows? At this point, just freaking buy it in a pair.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to deal with the riceness.
The local shop was like $300 to get just a booster, and it was aftermarket. It had like a 1-star review, so
Yeah.
I wasn't like gonna go and risk that or spend that money. So if you want to do it on a budget, it's kind of like the minimal things that you needed to have.
Got the OG hoodie on.
Kanjo DC.
I still don't got mine. I still got mine at home. Alright guys, sitting here editing the video and I forgot to film an outro, so back in Montana now. This will be the last video I post from content in New York. Fortunately, won't be seeing my brother probably for another year or so. It's just how it is living halfway, or like almost all the way across the country. So, but yeah, had a great time there. I appreciate everyone that I got to see, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content from New York, and I can't wait to do it again. And if you like these videos, I appreciate a like. Consider subscribing if you've been watching for a while, and follow my Instagram, Kanjo_brothers, if you want to see more content and sneak peek stuff on there. As always, thank you so much for watching.